So hello and welcome to a Valorant tips and tricks video. Today we're going to be doing part 2 of our videos on defaulting and how it works and how you should be doing it. And I have two examples for you today to show you, what a good default looks like, some of the ideas that you should be incorporating into your defaults and how you can have successful rounds with it. And the first one we're going to watch here is Ascend versus Team Liquid on Bind. Ascend are a very good attacking team on Bind, and it's largely because they are a very good default team on this map and understand exactly what's going on. So let's take a look at what is going on. As you can see here, the spike is in this kind of neutral position here. This position is one where you could go B, you could go A. It's very easy for either side to pick it up, so no problem there. We're going to see Killers put this wall here, which is obviously going to deny any info from the defenders and gives you quite a good control of U-Hole here. That's kind of the whole point. They're going to send two players towards Shower. They're going to leave Killers here to sort of man short, and they're going to send two players up here towards the hooker area. So now we can watch this start to happen, and what also is going to happen here, and it's probably going to be difficult to see on the map, I would guess, but what's going to happen is the Viper is going to put an orb just by this star. The Viper orb is just going to go down here as well, so they have a good idea that Viper is going to be on this site to start off with as well, because she just threw that orb down. So they have that bit of information straight away because these players have seen it. And we're going to focus on the B side first, and then we'll come back to what the A players are doing. So let's focus on this B side first of all. So as you can see, they're just like slowly making their way up. But then the Viper ult comes out, and obviously that makes a universal sound cue. And Ascend probably have a pretty good idea of where this is straight away. One, they've seen that orb get thrown down on B, so they're pretty sure that Viper is on B side. And it would be weird if the Viper put the orb down and then ulted, because it's kind of doing the same thing either way. So they probably think this is probably on long. I would doubt that it's actually in hooker, but either way, we're pretty sure that it's going to be on B site. And, the others can see that, this ultimate isn't coming out of A short and it's not in showers. So they're pretty sure it's on B site, and we're pretty sure it's on B long. And then as we move it forward even more, what's next going to happen is you're going to get this Sova dart here on B long as well. And that is probably going to tell them, hey, Sova is also probably on B, this dart for the B long area. That's going to tell them, hey, Sova was probably B. Now this is actually a bit of a fake by Liquid, because Sova did start here on B, shot this dart, and then quickly, as you can see, is rotating to A as quickly as he can. And so that information that they think Sova is on B actually is incorrect. Now the next thing that's going to happen, I'm going to bring you to sort of the full view, and I'm going to play the sound of this as well, is the Raze here, as you can see, is about to boombot into hooker. Okay, and this is going to give them some more information as well. So here we go. So she sends the boombot in, and it actually gets sucked at first, but then it goes off, and you see it go off there, and then it gets shot by a judge, and Zeke can hear that it got shot by a judge in hooker. And one thing that Team Liquid love to do is they love to have Link in hooker with a judge. That is something that they often do, and so I think at this point they have a pretty good idea that, okay, Astra is there in hooker as well with a judge. So at this point, they have information that they've got a Viper ult, a judge in hooker with Astra, and they think Sova is there maybe as well. So they think at this point probably there's 3 players on B and only 2 on A. And so you can watch the reaction of Zeke here. As soon as he hears that judge shot, what is he about to do? Look, he just hightails it and runs straight away. No doubt in his mind. Oh, let's go A. Forget that. We aren't challenging a Viper ult and a judge in hooker and maybe an extra player as well. Let's just hightail it towards A. So now let's focus on the A side and what they were doing at the start of the round. So as we roll this forward, you'll see that the Viper is pretty passive here. They don't really do too much. They're just, I think, watching to make sure that there's no early aggression. You can see that I think they're setting up a lineup for their orb. And we're going to get a dog in towards Shower here from the sky and help the two of them push up. And this dog is about to see, and they're about to get a lot of warning that this is the case, because this dog is about to see, I think is about to see both of those players. Now I'm not sure, but what also gives it away is the fact that you get this KO knife and the Reyna flash as well. So even if the dog did see them or not see them both, they can be pretty sure that there are 2 players pretty close in shower, and that's going to be a pretty big deal for how these 2 play the round, because you'll see that they get a lot less aggressive. So we have to consider what all of that information leads Ascend to think and how they go about it. So they think at this time, you know, after the round has progressed a bit more, that there's 3 players on B and that there's 2 players on Shower, and that this little choke point and into U-Haul might be completely free. And as we roll this forward, you're going to see that they take advantage of that with the information that they've gained from their default. So if we roll this forward, what you're going to see, in fact, we can kind of go forward. You can see that these two stop playing passive, but what you get also is you get Killers now on Viper because of the information that they've got. He realizes, hey, I might have a lot of space to take up here towards U-Haul and get in there. And so that's exactly what he does. He crosses with his wall and his orb. He gets in there. And also we get this drone from Sova, which we can see, you can just about see there. But if I bring it onto the normal mode, you can actually see that we are in the Sova drone already. So they are droning through U-Haul, which also is probably going to tell Killers, hey, they don't have much control of U-Haul. And actually, if I go back onto the normal and just play you this part of the round as well, you'll see that Killers continues pushing in, and he gets to this point. Now, I actually think he gets caught out here quite badly, because I think he expects the Sova to be quite a bit further back than he actually is. And Yampy, after droning, feels like it's completely, you know, he cleared it without seeing anyone actually in there. So he's going to try and defend this space. But they kind of, you know, both play at an awkward timing. You'll see what I mean, because Killers has its utility out, but I'm sure if he could see that the Sova was there, this utility would not be out and his gun would be out instead. But it actually works out in his favor because he's able to spam through a wall with a Spectre, which is quite hard to do, but it was because obviously of the vulnerable and the decay. What happens at the same time, as you can see, is Scream catches off Zeke, I think. Yes, he catches off Zeke. And I'm pretty sure that this happens just because of the timing of the wall going down. Pretty sure that he just catches him on this cross. Just as the wall goes down, they kind of get an awkward timing. And he gets caught there by Scream, you know, just peeking out and making sure that he's there. But one thing that is interesting to note is that there's still 2 players here on B. They still don't have a clue, really, where a lot of these Ascend players are and where they might be. And to be honest, that kill of the Raze is probably the first indication that they got that this is actually an A push. So these players on B are so far behind. Look at this. It's a 4v2 on this site at this point, and obviously Team Liquid are in big trouble. So as we continue it through, what we'll get is the Seekers as well, just to, you know, put even more pressure on these players and just to make sure that there isn't like a rotation from behind. And obviously these Seekers all start to go forward, so they're pretty sure that there's no big flank as well. And obviously they start to close in on this position of the defenders. And if we just take it to the normal part here, you know, they're closing in. They've got Killers here, you know, getting towards the back of U-Haul. They're starting to peek out of Showers as well. You know, they can see where these Seekers are going. And, you know, they start getting kills because they're good players. And they see that last player as well. Killers comes around. He actually dies. Good kill by Soulcast there, but he's flashed and he dies. And now all of a sudden, it's a 3v2 with the site. And Ascend are able to close it out. And, you know, this is how a default works. You see the denial of the information for Team Liquid. That Ascend really didn't give much away, but they gained so much information. They had such good ideas of where Team Liquid were and where exactly they should push, and they found the gap, right? They found the gap in the defense. Killers got a nice timing towards Short. He gets that kill. He actually gets, you know, he gets a bit lucky, but he does get that kill, and from there, that kind of allowed them to cement the round. Scream and Soulcast did well, I would say, overall, to, you know, get as much as they did out of that, because they were in a very difficult situation, but they got quite a bit of it, but obviously they couldn't hold on in a 4v2. Most people won't be able to, and so it left them in a complete retake, and Ascend ended up winning this round. Okay, this is the second one we are going to view, and this is Vision Strikers versus Fnatic on Fracture, and we're going to see what Fnatic are able to do and how they managed to win this round and why they were so good on attack. Now, unfortunately, the broadcast didn't actually start straight away on this round, so we actually can't see the early parts of it, but what I will tell you is this Skye, I'm pretty sure we didn't see it, but I heard the sound cue. This Skye flashes here, and I think, you know, gets the sound cue that there are people outside of A main. So what we're going to see, obviously, from Fnatic is you've got the Raze here coming up towards the B, towards the tower area with this Viper wall. You've got the Cypher, you know, trying to man and go towards a dish, if you will. And then you've got 2 players here towards A main. And you've got the Astra, who is eventually, you know, going to sort of patrol this area of B main. So as we start running it forward, what you will start to see is the Astra is, you know, playing very passively at first, making sure that there is no big push, no big flank, and the Cypher, obviously, he had his cam, in this area first, just to, you know, check that there was no one in this side of dish, and then afterwards he picks up his camera and he pushes around instead. And so that's what Magnum is doing. They're playing quite passively here, as you can see on A main. You know, they don't want to do anything too much. They've been flashed, so you know they know that there are people pretty close, and they've tried to stop this push, as you can see with this Viper Molly on the door. They're making sure that there is no early push, no early aggression from Vision Strikers. And then if we keep running it forward, what you'll see a lot is this breach doesn't know where to go. Keep your eye on that if you want, because this breach will just constantly be guessing and be constantly guessing wrong. Because at this point, you probably think it's an A hit, and you know, well, that's going to be wrong. So Durka here ends up going underneath the tube, as you can see. I'll just show you his perspective here. He's going underneath the tube, and he is going to play a very important role in this round. And I'm not sure if it's right now or if it's a bit later, but he is going to play a very important role. Now, if we start looking back at the map, what you will see is obviously you've got Magnum here on Cypher, has been able to take a lot of space for free. But if we watch him, you know, he will stop. He will stop at this point. And this is very important, because if you look here at what's going on with this jet is about to go and watch what's going on at dish. You know, they aren't just going to give that up for completely nothing. And so, you know, Magnum knows that. And Magnum knows, I can't get too aggressive here. I need to wait a bit. I've taken a lot of space, but, you know, I don't need to lose my life for free and, you know, give the defenders a big advantage. So as we run it forward, what's going to start happening is, and I just want to show you this really, because it's Durka. It's Durka is who matters here. And at this point, the sky has flashed again, I'm pretty sure, towards these, or he's about to flash again. But watch what Durka is doing. Durka here is just checking. He's just checking both pushes from both sides. And if I go back to the map, I can show you what he's checking. He's just checking that no one is pushing out here, and that no one is pushing out here. And that's really, really, really important. And this, using the underneath passageway for that goal, is quite genius, to be honest, because I don't, you know, it's something that I hadn't really thought about. But what Durka is essentially doing is he's giving them this space. He's making sure that they still have map control of this area and of this area. You know, he's making sure that they still have that control of that area. And that's really, really important. Now, obviously, they have the tripwires sort of further on than that. But that is going to play a big, massive role in this round, because they're going to end up going back to B. But the only reason that they can do that is because Durka is constantly patrolling this area. Now, if we keep going on... Oh, right, here we go. So you got the Skydog down here. There's kind of common search, obviously, for these players on A. And they see, oh, yeah, there's players still towards A main. You've still got Magnum, you know, just chilling out here. Astra has started, you know, now that Durka has given the all clear of, hey, no one's pushed out, Astra has started to take some space towards B main, I guess. And what you're going to start to see, and here comes another flash as well. And this is just, again, good defaulting, right? They have used all of this Sky's utility has been completely used in this instance here. And they've got the Sky completely out of utility just from, you know, just chilling back there. And that's what a default does. And I think what Boaster does here is, if we just go back, I think what he does here is consciously gets hit by this Sky Flash. I think he almost goes into it. And then as soon as he does, and you know, they've flashed now twice, and they've dogged, and they've seen them on A main. A lot. Okay? So they, I think it's an A hit. And what you'll see is the breach is going to come back here, and he's going to think it's an A hit. That's what Vision Strikers think at this point. But Boaster has made the call, no, we're going B. Now, he also knows, and we, you know, Fnatic know at this point, that no one's pushed out. They know that no one's pushed out yet. So basically, the only positions that defenders could be is on site and in their spawn. This is, you know, the only positions that they can really be anywhere near this B site. And they're going to take advantage of that with this breach ult. So breach is going to go underneath the tube. You know, Durka is now starting to, you know, push a bit more. He's going to start to, you know, make his way up. You can see that breach is about to, you know, get in position to ult this B site. And something weird is going to happen here. You can just about see it. You can sort of see it on the map there, kind of a weird thing going on. But you can see it here as well, where, who is it? It's Mako is going to get, he is going to get caught by this. And he's going to get thrown up in the air. And him and Durka pass like ships in the night. And they have no idea of each other's presence. They're just going to completely pass each other, which is obviously quite weird. But as we run this forward now, you see they get onto site. See, Mako is just completely out of it there. And they know that probably someone is in tower. Tower is kind of the last place that they've checked. They're on site. You know, they know no one's pushed out. So that's all going pretty well for them. And what you'll see as well is Magnum here is started to make this lurk a real possibility. He's actually managed to find the perfect timing. Whilst this Sky was coming around here and up into here, he's managed to do this. And he's managed to slip the net, as it were, and just found the perfect timing. And timing is a lot for a default. So as we play this on, you can see that King kind of gets caught in no man's land. He dies to Boaster there. But what's going to happen is they're going to start losing a couple fights because they didn't know about the Astra here. You know, as I said, the ships in the night. So they lose this fight, Mystic here against Stacks. You know, just a Sheriff kill. They just lose that one. And Boaster's going to get killed by Mako because they had no idea about him. But they do now know. Now it's a 3v2, right? But they do know where these last players are. Because Magnum here, if I can go back to the map, Magnum here knows that Sky's here. You know, he knows, and he's about to cam, and he's about to ping the Sky with this camera, and so he knows where he is. And obviously they know where Mako is because he's just got that kill as well. So they know where these last two players are, which is obviously pretty good for them. They are in a 3v2. They do have the gun advantage here, but if we go back to the normal mode, I mean, this is just funny to watch. Anyway, there's only 18 seconds left, but you'll see that, you know, RB here as a Skycam dart. Magnum is just literally watching him there, and RB is in an impossible position. Now, Mako, they know about where he is, so Durka's going to get the plant down after retrieving the spike. You know, and Doma here is just going to see him. Look, so they know where Mako is, but RB is going to be left in an impossible position here. If we go to the map, you'll see what I mean, and we can just watch the Cypher and Sky. This guy has to close this gap, but look, it's just constantly having to check behind and eventually loses that fight. And then eventually Fnatic will win this round, and Mako knows that there's not much he could do. They know where he is. And eventually what's going to happen here, if we move it on, is he is going to get a kill. But then he's also going to get knifed because they know where he is, so he kills Doma, but then Durka knifed him in the back, and again we have a good default where they gained information. They gave, both times here, we've seen kind of false information be used by both teams, but you can see how they stopped the rotations. Magnum found an amazing lurk timing. His timing was impeccable. He was very patient, and that is very important, I think, and something that, you know, if you want to run a good default, you have to be very patient. And we saw it here with Fnatic, and we saw just a wonderful way of winning. And what I really loved is Durka's position on this and checking both flanks from underneath. And honestly, in a ranked game, thinking about it, you can probably get quite a few kills from that position of just checking flanks from underneath and, you know, watching people go. If your team is wanting to go A site, it honestly probably is a decent idea to just lurk in the underneath tunnel on B site and just, you know, watch for the fast rotations out, and you'll probably get quite a few free kills. So I hope that those examples helped you figure out what a good default might look like. And with that said, have a happy new year, everyone, and I will see you in 2022.